Good morning.
Hey, everybody. So we wanted to just quickly give our thoughts on Pixar Pier from last night. Did not do this last night because it ran until 1 a.m. and we are now sufficiently caffeinated with Starbucks. So Sam, what did you think about the Pixar Pier After Dark event?
I thought the event was really cool. I was really surprised to see that all of the rides from the entire California Adventure Park were open. And that was really cool, although we actually didn't go on any rides during the event. But there were a ton of awesome character experiences. So, Brian, why don't you tell everyone about our favorites?
Well, I don't know what your favorites were, but we stood in line to meet Remy and Emile, which have been kind of unicorn characters for us. I've wanted to meet them forever, and so it was awesome to get a picture with them. But we waited in line for like 45 minutes to an hour to get a picture with them, and we were in the front of that line.
We lined up at about 7:40, which was before the event started. The event started at about 8, and then we probably got to see them. It was probably about 8:40 by the time we got to see them.
Yeah, and I guess the pro tip we learned from someone in front of us was that, so we had just gotten off of Guardians of the Galaxy, and they actually had a character meet with Eve and Wally that was open before the official event opened, and so they got their picture like right away with them and then came to the line for Emile and Remy. So they had already knocked out kind of a high value character in advance. So we went to that line. Actually, we went from Emile and Remy, we went to get our annual pass holder magnet, which took no time at all, and then we went and kind of walked around the pier. They had the characters for Onward out, but the line was insane, and we really wanted to meet Eve and Wally because
they're favorites of ours.
Yeah, they're favorites of ours and our son. So we went to meet them. We stood in line for a good 30 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, 35 minutes.
And then we went to stand
They also had Joy and Sadness. We passed Joy and Sadness on Pixar Pier. They were just across from the Onward characters.
Yep. And then we went to see Russell, Doug, and Mr. Fredrickson.
And those were all over by the Redwood Creek trail.
The Redwood Creek, yeah. And so that was really, those were really fun. But I would say we spent most of our night meeting characters. After we did the Redwood Creek Trail characters, we went to Cars Land, and they had Red, Cruz, Ramirez, Lightning, and Mater out. So,
and it was cool because you got to take your picture. Red was by himself, so you could take your picture with Red, but then you got to take your picture with all three, Tow Mater, Lightning McQueen, and Cruz Ramirez. They were all right in the middle of the street in Radiator Springs, so you got a really nice backdrop of, the statue of Stanley on the street, and I think those pictures came out really cool.
Yeah, I would say, and then after that we actually booked it over to the Monsters Inc. Dance party, and they had. Why am I blanking on his name?
Art.
They had Art out from Monsters University, which is amazing. He's one of my favorite characters from that movie.
They had a bunch of the Monsters University characters. So they had Sully in his Letterman's jacket. They had Mike with his hat and his bracelet or retainer.
I didn't see Mike. I missed him. I saw the other Uzma Kappa guys, but I didn't see Mike.
Yeah.
And they had Roz. They had a giant Roz out, which was really interesting. I'd say we stood in line a little bit. I know Sam was excited about the event merchandise, and we walked past there, and it turned out to just be kind of an okay T-shirt and a tumbler, and neither one of us really liked the T-shirt, and we don't really use the tumblers, so I'd say that was kind of a bust in my mind. I was hoping for like an event pen or something like that, and maybe that was out there, but they certainly weren't advertising it. We did not ride any rides, as Sam said. I'd say the lines for the rides were short, but not walk-on by any means.
Yeah.
I did try one of the food items. I tried a churro. It was like the Adventure is Out There churro, which was, a regular churro rolled in blue salt with...
sugar.
Blue sugar, yes. Blue sugar. Blue salt would be disgusting. Blue sugar. And they came with a cup of, white frosting dipping sauce that were topped in... round sprinkles, right. And it was supposed to be the balloons from Up. So when they handed it to me, they were like, "Here are your balloons." So it was good. It was a churro. It was a churro with a lot of frosting. So it can't complain.
Can't be bad. Can't be bad.
So it was good. There was a lot of event food out there that looked good, but then it was massive. There was a pastry over in
At Schmoozies.
Schmoozies, that like when you're reading the description, you're like, oh, I'd try that, and then you see it in person, and it's like the size of a small cake. And so we're like, I don't want that. So anyway, I think like overall, if you really want those rare character experiences, I think the night was totally worth it. The costumes were really cool. We met a woman who had just an awesome Remy costume because Remy is one of her favorites, and so
she was dressed as Colette, but then she was wearing the chef's hat with like a Remy
backlit
cutout,
Remy,
and there was a light inside, so it looked like the sort of shadow of Remy inside the hat. It was really cute.
So it was cool. So I'd say overall, like, you know, if you're really into those rare characters, it was fun. You're going to spend most of your night doing that. If what you're trying to do is leverage the ticket to get on rides, I mean, I guess it's there, but I'd say the better value is like the early morning magic hour over at Walt Disney World at the Magic Kingdom.
Or if you're staying on property here at Disneyland, the early morning magic hour at Disney's California Adventure, you get to go on a lot of rides in that hour.
Yeah, I would say.
And same at Disneyland.
I would say the ticket last night was not effective for riding rides. I think it was really cool to meet characters, and that seemed to be where most of the lines were. They were saying the lines were longer than they'd anticipated. But it was really cool to meet the characters. And I'd say the characters would spend time with you, which was really fun if you wanted it.
And it was mostly multi-characters all at once. Like, so they had the Bugs Life, Flick and Etta, they had together, and Remy and Emil were together. As I said, the Cars characters were together except Red. So the nice thing about that is you're not just taking your picture with Lightning McQueen; you get the picture with all three, right?
And check out the dance parties because, like there was an Incredibles dance party where all of the Incredible characters came out, including Edna Mode. We didn't get to go to that. And then they had Kevin. They had Kevin walking around the park. And they had Nemo and
Dory and Marlin.
And Marlin just kind of wandering the park as like, you know, puppets. So those were cool to see. So yeah, I think the characters are really interesting, and the event merchandise was a letdown. And I would say, you know, you could do some rides, but I wouldn't make that my primary focus of the event. And
Agreed.
the costume, the sort of people watching with the costumes was really good. People had some really clever costumes.
Yeah, we did not dress up. Obviously, we were coming here from out of town. It seems like a lot of the people who dress up are locals, you know, California locals, and that definitely seems to be a big thing.
But if you're inclined
here
to dress up, you could totally bring a costume with you for these kinds of events. Like, people had some pretty elaborate costumes that were really cool. So
no, it was really. I actually think it would be fun. And the Edna Mode, they had an Edna Mode like sort of fashion show twice during the night where people got to like show off their costumes.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, we're running a little bit behind to go meet up with Chris and Seth from the DCL podcast for our VIP tour this morning. I'm excited to not have to be engaging with the Disneyland app all day and getting max passes. So we'll report back on what the VIP tour was like. And it's a fun day so far. We had a great day one, and now we're looking forward to checking out this VIP tour.
Yep.
See you, everybody.
Bye.